Alright, so we just got done watching Sailor Moon's, this would be episode 49, or Season 2, aka Sailor Moon R, Season 2, Episode 2.
Yep.
This episode was called For Love and Justice, a Sailor Senshi once again.
Yeah. Now, this episode, right off the bat, I can tell it's getting more kawaii. And that's just because...
It means cute, is that right?
And that means something like cute, and it's just... I'm 23, and I've been on the internet for a while.
Yeah.
And the whole aesthetic in Arizona iced tea and all that, I think in Young Lean, it's all come from...
That's Young Lean.
It's all come from Sailor Moon.
It's Swedish.
I think this is true.
Swedish, Japanese.
And now I don't really listen to that kind of music.
Well, he had a song called Kyoto, so that
does
says
he?
something. Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't really listen to his music, but I know he's associated with that.
It's kind of a
joke.
That aesthetic.
The aesthetic,
aesthetic.
very aesthetic.
Well,
a little bit of appropriation, just like just a touch.
JP. So we would talk a lot about the score of the last.
Okay, I want to
season, but this season's score
is much better.
Last time it was a lot of orchestral. And it has become a lot more vaporwave.
There was a specific scene that reminded me a lot of Maria Takeuchi's music, and it was it was this sort of a funky saxophone thing that would likely be sampled in the genre of music we call vaporwave or otherwise future funk,
which is very
yes,
that is very prominent in the internet right now.
In the internet right now, this moment right now.
What is it?
You know what else is big right now on the internet? Conspiracy theories. And here's one. There was a Soviet-looking frame near the ending of that introduction sequence. There was a crescent.
First season, though.
Was that the first season?
No, they had the same shot
it's the same,
in the second
Oh,
season.
but like on top of the tower.
Yeah, with the red background.
So there was a crescent, right?
Yeah.
And the way it was angled was kind of similar to the sickle of the hammer and sickle, and it was a red background. All it was missing is the hammer.
Now, I will say that symbol that you are talking about is the moon slightly.
Yeah.
No,
but it's not the same angle.
It's not like looking up in the sky at night.
Thing is, it's
not like it is on her forehead either.
I've studied
notably different.
I've studied Sailor Moon more than I have history.
Okay.
So therefore, I just see that and I associate it with Sailor Moon. And when I think about this I don't even know what these words mean. I just think about Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's not for sure, but it might be worthwhile to consider who's making these cartoons. Is this nostalgia?
They did seem. I was noticed the writers seem somewhat have motivations towards good and evil.
Yeah,
it was very idealistic.
Because you see, the characters they never discuss their ideas of good.
There is no gray. There is no gray in.
It's very black and white.
Yes,
absolutely.
And their motivation, they're like, oh, we're doing this because
they're fighting.
Could that be a capitalism communism thing? I'm just saying.
Perhaps.
Could it be representative?
I mean, I don't believe that the show is a battle.
It's not. You can't.
I mean, I would agree, but I think it's broad strokes, right? It's ism versus ism. Period. Which one's good, which one's bad. This thing's not trying to paint that. This
you don't think so?
No, this is about friendship.
It's pure good versus evil.
It's about friendship versus not friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Brotherhood isn't that far off from friendship, is it?
Brotherhood, perhaps.
Brotherhood is a big thing.
Another word for friendship.
It's a big thing with militarism.
Sure. Okay. So,
you're looking at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I'm just watching the game. Yeah. So basically, a lot of the debate in this episode stems from whether or not they should awaken the new sailors, right? Or the old sailors who are currently in an amnesiac state.
Yeah, but you know what I loved about that is the kitties remember everything. Cute kitties.
The kitties remember.
The cute kitties remember everything.
The cats are somehow smarter than everyone else.
Well, I mean, cats are wise,
So we were kind of brought back to the old paradigm of episodes where a lot of it takes place in the high school and around sort of high school level conflicts and characters. So. Early in this episode, Naru and Usagi are having a conversation about how Naru has gotten a call back for an audition for a TV drama, and how she's going to go audition for it. But the producers of this show just so happen to be scouting at the high school right now, which I imagine where Naru gets it. There isn't enough foreshadowing to say definitively, but you see all of the sailor soldiers are the ones that they have picked, except for Usagi.
That's exactly what
agrees
happened.
to escort Naru, who remembers all of the crazy stuff that happened to her, because she, as a non-sailor, was prey victim early on in the show, far more than the rest of any of the side characters, so to speak. So basically, this episode centers around all of these girls going to audition and being asked to audition for a popular TV drama, which is pretty funny and serendipitous, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's why I like this episode, because those things happen. And I really like the chain of events in this episode when everything happened in the sequence. And that's why that's probably one of the best episodes. And when
you think this was one of the best episodes?
When Memuro said dumpling head, it just gave me chills. And that's why I love this episode, because of the structure. And
so,
Sailor Moon remembers, but Memuro doesn't.
Really? You feel that strongly about that, eh?
Well, I mean, that's the face that's what it was. It's like you could see her. You could see Usagi Tsukino really trying, really like passionately in love with Memuro, and he just did not.
And she's excited to remember again, because this episode
so excited.
Jumps right into her getting her memory back, as she does at the end of the episode prior.
Yeah.
And so there's another character in here. I want to say her name was Natsume. Is that right? And
Which one's that?
That's the alien girl, red-haired girl.
Yeah, they seem destined for conflict.
Yeah,
that's going to be a very central theme.
Well, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
She's interesting because she's the villain, but she also commits to her sort of high school character transformative state, and actually is appealed by Mamoru, right?
Yeah,
she's actually into him. Even though she's an alien disguised as a human, she's still into him, and it's interesting because I'm not sure she also is aware that Usagi is Sailor Moon. It's not clear entirely, but that's interesting. And these are our new big bad guys, and immediately they're given much more depth in character with more, with more gravitas than the Queen Mara Dark Kingdom arc of season 1. That's very exciting.
We end up at the mid sequence, when we
with the bumper,
we get the new bumper, and then right after this, I love because we get introduced to these monsters, some sort of new Yuma enemy evil. And
there's the tarot card.
And
Greek, the kind of god.
Yeah, the tarot card. I actually have that in my notes. It's tarot card.
Tarot card.
And
smart
man. But before that, it's so after the sequence, so all this is getting right shoved down, and all this is right in front of us, moving so fast paced, and then the kiddies discuss. The kiddies start to discuss, and that's what I like is kiddies discussing about
whether or not they should awaken.
Whether they should awaken the others.
The kiddies, they were having a conversation at Usagi's house.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
And they let her in this time though. Yeah. That's this is season 2. This isn't season 1 for Christ's sake. This is season 2. Oof.
Yeah, and
what are you fooling at for Christ's sake?
Well, I don't know. And the kiddies.
All right.
I just like that the kiddies talk about it. I like that the kiddies talk about it.
Well, they bring Usagi in. They're like, Usagi's gotten more mature, and then she kind of screws up with the bouncy ball.
But the kiddies are obviously the most mature.
She's clumsy. She's a silly, clumsy one.
I'm
realizing this. Usagi,
I appreciate the kiddies being the ones with the sound mind. They're the ones.
Well, they're grown-ups.
Right? They're grown-ups, exactly.
And they're cats.
Wisdom.
For real.
They got real wisdom.
They do, for sure. They've seen it all.
Do you think they're controlling?
Yeah, well, they
do you find them controlling?
Maybe not controlling, but they definitely have an agenda. But they're pretty open about their agenda. But they certainly we kind of prioritize the well-being of the greater state of things than these sailors specifically in certain situations.
Okay.
But they have nuance, which is what makes them good, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not really like a sacrificial lamb type deal.
Not exactly.
So why was it that the cats didn't want to have the sailors remember?
I mean, logically, there is no reason, but it was because they wanted peace for them because they basically
had been through so much
for 47 episodes worth of content.
I don't think that's like ethical at all, though. At the same time,
for the kiddies,
why wouldn't that be that? Seems like it's pointing at a greater good. If there's no conflict, then why have all these?
Well, and the idea was that Sailor Moon
memories.
is the sort of alpha leader of the group, and it's like if she can handle it on her own, why would we drag these poor girls back into this, right? Yeah.
Well,
because the ending, so the ending of the first season was very intense. It was intense, but we won't get into that right now. But you should watch it at some point.
I will. I'll do that.
Watched it 3 times.
We have guests on the show this week. You want to introduce yourself?
We get the sailors back. I want that to be established. We do.
Oh, we get the sailors back.
We're back.
So we get the sailors
We're
back.
back except Mamoru.
Well, and when we get the
Glenn.
sailors back, I was like,
funny about my name.
soldiers.
My uncle Glenn.
I was like, yes. We got the soldiers
was
back,
it,
and I was
Glenn?
like, that is so quick. I was like, that was
What's up, man?
that was
How you
fast
doing,
paced.
Glenn? You want to be Glenn? Do you like that?
I knew that was just like
I was
it
born
was
with
it was quick, and I knew as
Yeah.
soon as I saw the sailors, I was like, okay, we're back in action. I'm glad the kiddies did it. I'm glad the kiddies
Yeah,
woke
it
them
was a
up.
very like
And do this
quick
is so
shift.
vaporwave.
It was
because the
Vaporwave.
vibe like I was getting was the beginning was very like in struggle, very like we're on the bottom, and then it just was like, bam, all right, now you're
OP.
OP.
Yeah.
It's like a quick shift from struggle to success. I
Yeah.
thought that was good in like sort of like a plot sort of way, and
Right.
then once that happened, it was pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah. And that
I almost felt
quite
like
something.
it was just like too quick. There wasn't enough time to like flesh it.
You don't
out.
think it was?
There
You
was-
thought it was
yeah.
too quick.
It seemed
And
like
it-
one
and
In the
moment
context of the
uh,
series, it took us like 13, 14 episodes to get all the sailors in the show at all, right?
Yeah.
So
Really?
just
Now-
to see, have them hit a hard refresh and then just go, we're not actually hitting a hard refresh kind of rules.
Yeah, because they were just kind of like
You know,
they were
I'm
like,
oh my god, I don't have to go
you
through
know,
this again.
pardon me. They were kind of like screw it,
Yeah.
and they just said screw it, and they said let's just bring them back right away. Let's get the sailors back and let's keep it exciting.
I could
Let's keep
see-
it fresh.
how that's kind of framing it for more like, so the beginning was like framing it, putting the characters, and now that they have the established world,
Exactly.
they can get back in, and so then sort of the big arc of the season, as I could,
This
guess,
is like a
be
continuation.
less of like,
Yeah.
getting the situation set up as it is like, now that we have this dank situation, we can have this even like bigger grand scheme for the
Yeah.
season.
You
Yeah.
can't say dank.
Well, what does
Yeah.
what does that mean? Like, what does dank mean?
What is
I-
that? I mean,
You know what? I don't really know.
But I think I
It's
know it
something
kind of mean
trendy.
like cool.
That's what
it's
I think.
positive.
It'd be cool,
It's definitely
like,
I
a
don't know where
positive.
it comes from though.
Yeah.
It has positive connotations.
Yeah. That's what I gathered.
Yeah.
Well, then this was a dank episode.
This was
dank. This was. But you know what's not dank is the very intentional sexualized angles on this show. Like it's very intentional. And looking back, being
Well,
1995, 1996,
I
I
believe.
suppose it was kind
somewhere
of a
around
different
there.
thing. But
I would've
I don't
only
think you
been-
could get away
no,
with that
I don't know.
anymore.
I would have only been like 8 when the show came out. So
Oh yeah, but
I wouldn't have
what
thought
I- what
about it
I'm
that
getting
way. I
at
wouldn't
is
have
it
thought
was-
about it that way
it
at
was
8 years
different.
old.
I just never noticed.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, but
really
as
see
soon
it.
as you see it, you.
I suppose
you see
we-
it.
maybe
Well, I
we'll
think
tackle
that's
that in the next
digging
episode.
like deeper than.
Is it
Maybe
really
if I
intense,
saw the show when I was 14, I was relating, but I don't know what to even think of that. Because I was
More
8
mass
years old.
appeal?
Is it sexual?
I don't even know what
Or is
to-
it just beauty? Is what it is.
I don't
You
even
know,
want
like
to think.
creating a perfect world.
That's
sort of.
I
true.
don't even want to talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that changes things a bit,
It's
doesn't
too
it?
deep. I can't go there.
It's but it's all about love.
It is. It's all.
The show's actually about
It's about
love.
friendship.
It's about friendship. It's not about superficial qualities.
Miracle
No.
romance.
It's about miracle
Mantras.
romance. It's about love. It's
Actually,
not about
that
superficial.
thing. Yeah, that
crap.
superficial thing.
You know what? It's not about
Oh, you
superficial.
got some
I got a
superficial.
good insight.
There's a lot of
You
episodes
have a
We
about
clue.
we gotta.
I noticed that in the beginning when there's I don't
You
forget
saw
the
it?
names, Sailor and then redhead evil woman.
Oh yeah, not
Yeah,
so
They're both into
Mamoru.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sailor Moon's thinking like, oh, the love we had, all this like personal stuff. The other girl is like completely on a superficial basis, just like, oh, I just saw him, I want him so bad. So it's almost putting that sort of superficial quality on the side of evil, like it's an evil trait.
Woo.
So
I
you
know,
think
I was
you think,
thinking
you
about
think
that.
that's an idealistic example in itself?
Yeah, because you can see like in the characters that are evil or the characters that are good, there's certain like
Degrees
Pers-
of vanity.
that, and also like certain like personality like qualities put in, like with the evil dude. What's his name? The
Alien guy?
ones that in Trap, Another World, the alien.
Yeah, no,
Evil guy.
I don't know what the man's name is. I do not
Yeah.
recall.
But it's just the Dark
but-
Kingdom.
When they're like running around, he's like, "Oh, I love the sound of the screams of women." Right, that's placed on sort of the evil
Yeah.
table.
That's a very serial killer thing. to
Yeah,
say.
that was a pretty
Serial
intense
killers
moment.
hate women.
Well, I'm sure. Well, John Wayne Gacy. kind of.
I don't know who.
It was the.
No, but I'm just saying.
Nah,
Yeah.
we're talking about
Yeah.
Sailor
Yeah.
Moon here.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, okay? We're not talking about this
I'm
this
just saying-
tomfoolery. We're talking about Sailor Moon, okay? And,
Yeah, I
this
know
was
it's,
a great episode.
You know what?
Well, just
I think you're right.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. You.
We're all right.
Right.
Hey,
I think
we got
This is what friendship's all about.
Wait,
Oh, guess
we got a guest caller here. Turn on speaker.
Hey,
Hello?
hey! I just want to let you know right now, you're on the internet.
Oh my god.
You're on the internet right now. We're doing a video.
Sailor Moon.
We're doing a Sailor Moon review, and you're on speakerphone, so you're in the internet movie, and you're gonna be on the internet.
Yeah, which episode?
I don't know. Do you want to say anything to the world here?
Where are you guys?
All right,
Dude,
hey,
he's talking.
Sailor Moon rules. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a great call. Thanks for
just
calling.
kill it. Let's just kill it, man. I have respect for my audience.
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Beautiful. Thanks for being on the
Yeah,
air there,
yeah.
guest caller. Appreciate it.
real
First time,
solid
long
guy.
time.
Solid
Can
man.
we kill this? Can we kill
All right,
this video?
let's thank our guest this evening.
You got any more?
Please.
You got any more?
Introduce yourself.
Sasha.
Sasha,
Glenn.
Glenn. We have our special guests, Sasha and Glenn.
Thanks for watching. I love you.
It's been nice.
It's all right. It's
Yo.
all right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Fuck this.
Yeah. No. I'm.
Oh wait,
I
text
gotta
you.
go home and go to bed. I work tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.